Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zoltán. I'm working for Bosch Rexroth as a didactic expert and also pre-sales consultant. Today we have a really special guest from Belgium, and we're going to introduce you an operator guidance system which can really reshape the didactic methods and also the methods how the manual assembly can work in a company. So, hello, Rob.
Hey, hello, Zoltán.
I'm really happy that you are here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Yes, so maybe the best would be if you can introduce yourself and after just tell a little bit about that system, which is called Archive.
Yeah.
So could you please
Sure.
do that?
Yeah. So my name is Rob Reynders. I am Belgium. I'm working for Archive. I've been working for Archive this year 4 years. Before that, I was in automotive branch. Actually, for 20 years, I was working for a Japanese multinational with a lot of plants across Europe. And I was looking for another position. I could find Archive and I could see it working in a lot of manual assemblies across my previous employer. So that's why I joined Archive, because I could really believe in the system. About the system itself, so Archive is also a Belgian company. It was founded last year, 10 years ago. The software is 10 years old now. Of course, it's developed meanwhile. And it's basically an operator guidance system. So by using augmented reality projections on the assembly or on the workbench, actually, we guide the operator step by step. It's a real-time system. So we also work with a 3D sensor for process validation that can track the hands of the operator. And in this way, we know in which step of the process he is, and we can give him the right information at the right time. Of course, while we developed since 2016, we added a lot of functionalities. One of the main functionalities that we added is 2 years ago was a vision camera. And this vision camera will make in-process quality checks. So on top of process validation, we also do quality inspection during the process, avoiding mistakes before they're made. And we do that using an infrared camera. So we only capture the infrared spectrum so that we block out infrared light so that we have a very stable functioning system. So light day, dark day, shadows will not impact the system. So that's mainly our operator guidance platform. There is different variants in it. There is a simple one with only work instructions on the screen or projected on the workbench. It's called Guide. There is no sensors, but you keep the intuitive way, I would say, as a step-by-step operator guidance, as a training system, if you want. And then there is also, you can expand it to validate with process validation. So here we will check the pickings, the placings, the picking of the right tools and so on. And then there is vision, where we then make the quality inspection. So it goes from a training system to a fully quality controlled, I would say, operator guidance system.
All right, thank you for that overview. From technical point of view, we're going to deep dive a little bit,
Yeah,
of course.
sure.
But before that, I think that would be a little bit better to bring the concept, the rationale of that product closer. So why do you think that product is unique? Being honest, I know it pretty well.
Yeah.
And I know also there are other brands, other companies, but there are a few things why I think Archive is a little bit in better, I would say. Can you tell me about it? Why, for example, a company should start to use that type of technology, or why it can be really beneficial for a university or a vocational school? So I want to make the concept much more closer from to the user perspective.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a few things about it?
So the main benefits of the system, I would say, is a training time reduction. It is up to 70% when you have an Archive system. So 70%. No need to train operators in many cases. You can just put them on the workbench and they can work from day one. It is an adaptive system, so you can have beginners to expert, where beginners get a lot of information from training purposes. But once they're used to it, if they're working 5 years or something like that, they probably don't need that guidance anymore. And we can switch off most of the instruction, but just tell them when they do something wrong. So this is one big advantage. The other one is, of course, your quality is safeguarded. We work with process validation, so there will be no longer mispickings, basically because we will not move to the next step unless they pick the correct thing. And on the other end, the second one is the quality inspection. So once they assembled the component into the assembly, we will check orientation, it is clipped in well, it is screwed in enough, and things like that. And the last bit is we are an extremely open system. So we try to integrate with everything that is existing. We have a very large API, so we support all of industrial protocols. It means that we integrate from the top side with MES ERP systems that tell you what to produce, when to produce, and then we will be the last step in the chain, how to produce. And on the other end, with smart tools, with measuring devices, label printers, barcode scanners, everything on the shop floor, and we can embed it in the production process. The last point is data. So we come actually, one of the founders of Arcade was a process consultant. So we come from the process consulting sector, I would say. And therefore we capture all of the data, each picking, each placing, each quality check. Also the feedback from the integrated tools is logged in a data file. We can put it everywhere and you will have complete transparency in what you are doing.
I see. Let me share one of my experience with that system. We have a really popular and brilliant showroom here in Budapest, which is called Cube. This system actually was integrated maybe approximately 1.5 years ago. And when my colleagues integrated, they told me actually during the integration it was pretty easy, very intuitive system. And we had an event with a lot of visitors. And my colleagues told me, okay, Zoli, you're gonna do this. And I asked them, what? Because I've never seen the process. And it was a 32 steps long process without any training. I just started to follow the instruction, which was projected onto the manual assembly station. And there was an AGV system integrated, tightening system, manual assembly, conveyor belt, collaborative robot, and so on. And I just followed this instruction, which was prepared by my colleagues. And can you guess how many mistakes I did?
Probably none.
Yeah. So what does it mean? There was no onboarding process.
Correct.
And it's a really, really huge power. The other thing what I really liked, there was even pick-to-light system which was projected. So no any wiring, no any LEDs, nothing. So what does it mean? We don't have to increase the complexity hardware-wise or component-wise. We just only have to use one single digital system, and the number of the variants is infinite.
Yeah.
And that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant and very... And of course, from user perspective, the most important thing, the ease of the understanding, the ease of use to get this experience, to ease of getting the skill. And I would say it was effortless.
Yeah.
And I immediately started to think it is really, really huge power. I immediately saw so many possibilities where it can be used. Of course, the training is very important in case of the companies. The fluctuation sometimes is very hard, especially in case of the manual assembly. It takes a lot of time and effort for the company. The other thing, in case of the education systems, they also have to understand the mindset. How does it work? And in case of the youngsters, when they start to use that type of system, they can say it's pretty cool. Because nowadays, I would say the new generation, they really get used to the ease of using things. So I saw the potential immediately when I started to use that system.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about where can you really imagine which field is really, well, it can be used in a lot of fields, but maybe you can highlight some really potent fields where the arcade can be really beneficial.
It is mainly in manual and semi-manual production. We've seen that there is a lot of contract manufacturers that typically make electronic or mechanically electronic equipment for third parties, and they usually work in a manual or a semi-manual way, typically on workbenches in a pick and place application. So this is a very suitable application for Arcade. Also nowadays we're moving to the mechatronic sector, I would say. And there, of course, everything has to be logged, what we do. So they need to have an audit trail, they say. So everything that is produced needs to be logged, what the operator did, when, and so on and so on. Today, they do it manually. Somebody checks it, and somebody checks it, and then somebody signs off.
Yes.
With Arcade, they just do it, and we gather all of the data. We gather what he did. We take each quality check, and everything is logged in a database. So they can exclude all these second and third members actually to check the product.
So it means you can bring quality.
You can bring quality, and we save also operators there.
Yeah, and there are also a few things which can be really useful if you use the data. You can check an entire process, the complete cycle time, the time which is necessary for each certain sections, and based on the data, you can see where are the bottlenecks.
Exactly,
and it helps a lot.
Yeah,
it helps a lot. It can also help a lot to improve the efficiency of the worker, and also it helps a lot for the lean professionals.
Yeah,
for the process engineers to find this, I would say, the pain points. And maybe there is another thing I was thinking a lot, because the motivation in case of the workers is very important. And how can you do that in case of manual workers? If you have a certain data set which based on their real efficiency, so it based on the data, you can calculate the bonus, and you can make it transparent. So it can help a lot.
Yeah, you can investigate indeed. You can do a lot of studies using the data. You can see indeed the pain points in the process. You can see who has difficulties with the bots, so you can put them in a different assembly, for instance. So a lot of value actually, because we provide extremely detailed data. So it's not just step by step, but if you have to put a screw into an assembly, you will see how long it took to take the screw, how long it took to take the screwdriver, and how long it took until the screw was in the assembly. So that's how detailed the information gets. And on top of that, of course, we take the data from the tools that are integrated. So if there is talk applications, then we also have the talk log together in the assembly. So that's of course for studies, but also for traceability. So there's a lot of end customers that require traceability. So now you have a file exactly what happened to this particular assembly, and you can add a picture of the final condition, for instance, and so you have a file for everything that you produced.
Right, and if you want to describe it in a really simple way, how it can be integrated to an existing workplace, existing process. I would say you mentioned it's an open system, but is it just a program? You have to install it. It's a black box, or it can work as a slave mode. It can also provide data for other systems. Can you tell me a little bit about the integration possibility into an existing ecosystem, or digital ecosystem where I would say the maturity is extremely low or doesn't exist at all?
Yeah. So both ways is possible, of course. So there's companies that don't have anything. Then Arcade takes the lead about the production guidance and the production data, let's say, and we just integrate with tools or something like that. But in more mature companies with a lot of software already in place, We integrate with MES ERP systems. The way how to integrate is completely depending on the customer. We can just get a production order and give a feedback whenever it's done. This is the basic, I would say, but it can go very far. We can also track component stock in the workstation, for instance, based on how many pickings. We can give feedback, okay, there was 500 screws in the container, but there has been 300 pickings, only 200 remaining, and then even a request to send a refill to the logistics department. So all of this is possible. We can integrate it, and we mainly go into this discussion with the end customer how they would like to integrate it, and of course we will consult and make it happen with them.
So it means it can be a completely autonomous system,
Yeah.
and also just part of the
Yeah,
system as well,
it's
based on the need.
Yeah, it's based on it.
So it means, for example, a company with a really low maturity regarding the digitalization level, it can be an entry level application.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even the mindset can be developed using that.
Correct. The basic requirements, I would say, is to have at least work instructions and to have like an organized workplace with materials in fixed locations and things like that. So I think this is the basic requirement to have ArcGuide. Once you have that, you can just implement the system with very minor modification.
All right. So I think it was a nice prelude before we jump into the technical part. Maybe it helps a little bit to have the concept. And now, can you tell me a little bit how a company should start to think about implementing that type of system? So I would say a little bit the preparation.
Yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
I do not recommend all the time just jump in the middle of the things. We should start to think strategically. So can you tell me a little bit about how it should be prepared?
How to make an implementation is first we need to understand each deal of the manufacturing process. So first we ask to share the design of the product, the work instruction from A to Z, the variants they have, how many variants there are.
So it's a kind of homework.
It's a kind of homework.
Yeah.
So typically what we do, whenever they're interested, we send them a link, and in this link there is we call it a scoping form, and they can completely explain their use case, and they can upload relevant documents. So they can have the 3D files of the workbench, they can upload the work instructions, they can upload videos of the work instruction. They will have to indicate which quality checks they would like to make if they want. And then based on that, together with our pre-sales team, we will check it and we will make a solution for them. That's mainly how it. So the point is you gather all of the detail of the production of the workstation in question or the line in question, let's say, you share it with us and we work out a solution how to do it.
And about the scalability, we should think in a pilot at first, or just go for the big.
Both ways is possible. So of course, most of companies would like to try it out at first on a pilot.
I think it's a little bit more common.
It is, yeah, I would say 90% of the cases is like that. But there is also companies that when they are making a new line, for instance, they will consider ArcGuide and they will just draw it into the line and work in a complete line with ArcGuide. These cases are also there.
From scratch, or they have some experience, of course.
Even from scratch.
Even from
yeah,
scratch.
we already had that. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
It's rare, but
yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that.
It's of course it's a rare case. 90% of course starts with a pilot, but even this one is possible, of course. Yeah.
And what is your experience? Of course, the curiosity is very important. The openness before we start to deal with this topic. How they can get trust? What is the evolution, of this trust until the upscaling and the large scale application?
Okay.
The learning, I would say, the learning curve, the evolution curve.
So very importantly, when they can do a short POC of a few days, of course, or they can do a pilot, but we ask them to summarize their expectation and KPIs.
The big vision.
Yeah, the big vision. What is the purpose? How much quality you would like to save? How much text time? How much onboarding time you would like to save? So we summarize that. We will implement the use case in a suitable manner, of course, and then we follow it up regularly. So they put it into production, and then we evaluate. Okay, what is the outcome? Do we need somewhere some fine tuning or something like that? And then we define, a closing date, let's say, and then we just say, okay, what are the findings, and then they can decide for the rollout.
Yes, because usually they don't do it for fun.
Yeah, exactly. There should be a business case. So usually that business case is also proven in the pilot phase, let's say.
And as far as I know, you have several thousand working license use cases, which is a really, really huge number. It's a worldwide application. I heard feedback from Bosch companies and didactic colleagues all over the world, and everybody's really satisfied. But of course, you have a lot of use cases outside Bosch as well. Because you have such a huge number of licenses, can you tell me some numbers regarding the productivity, how changed using that, some average, the scrap rates, also the error rate? These are a few really relevant KPIs.
Yeah. So production errors and scrap rate, they're almost completely disappeared. So 65 to 100%, I would say.
May I ask why?
Yeah.
What is the reason why you could achieve this?
Because the operator, we will use a cognitive load of the operator. So they just get a step-by-step work instruction, and it is really very simple. So each step they see it appearing and they just need to do it. And on top of that, we will validate, okay, he's picking in the right container. And then with the camera, we're checking that it's done properly, of course. So you filter out the mistakes actually before the assembly.
Prevention.
Exactly, yeah. And that's mainly why there is such a huge impact on the quality aspect.
And I was thinking a little bit about this. And when I did the presentation, I found that if I do this during 1 hour, I can be really lost, distracted. It's very tiring when you have to focus each step.
Correct.
And this is how you can actually reduce the mental pressure.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Even in very simple use case. So we have one famous use case, and it was a company that is packing the holders of the headlamp of a car. And they had to put it in a box, 6 per layer. And there was always something missing. So 5 per layer, 4 per layer, 3 per layer. And you would say, how difficult can it be? Just fire the operator. But the operator in question was, he was losing sleep because of this, because he kept on making this mistake once in a while. But it's normal, because if you have to do such a simple thing that don't require any thinking, you start thinking about other things. It's very natural. You're distracted and you make mistakes. It is very human thing, of course. And there we just indicated, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And before it's full, he cannot move to the next step. So it keeps remaining red until everything is filled, of course. And so there we could exclude the mistake, and the operator could now work without any mistakes, without having to focus on this very simple task.
And what about the productivity?
So the productivity, especially in complex use cases where the cognitive load is very big, we can also save on that one, because operators doesn't need to think, they just follow. So it can be 5 to 7%, I would say. But the main impact is the quality and the onboarding time, of course. Also related to the onboarding time, today we see also workers coming from another country moving, and they usually don't stay that long, 6 months or something like that, and then they're gone. So we can also translate the work instructions today, even by AI, to any language. And when the operator logs in, he will get his language, and also here it's
just using a card. And
yes, you badge him with your RFID or just username and password, he will get his language, and it's also a great tool to avoid mistakes being lost in translation or something like that.
And also about the roles. So if there is a proper identification process, you can distinguish user groups, and that's a brilliant way how you can make it secure.
Yeah.
You know.
So within the operators, you can filter out only trained operators can do the process. Within this qualification, you can, as I said, distinguish between newcomers, intermediate, and experts, where newcomers will get a lot of instructions, and experts will get not instructions, but just notified when they do something wrong. And also, with regards to the configuration of the process, somebody will have a responsibility to make the process in Archite, somebody else will have to approve it, and yet somebody else have to put it in production, and then operators can just execute the process. So it's strictly separated who can do what, so nobody can touch the process and change anything.
Right, so the ease of use, ease of following the process requires a significant amount of information. What if your experience is increasing? Do you really need all of this? Maybe the video parts, or
you will not need it anymore. And there are people that are frustrated that, you show them the screw they've been tightening for 20 years. So for that reason, we have the expert mode. We try to switch off most of the guidance, let's say, but just tell him, okay, now you're losing focus. You do something wrong.
Because it can even slow you down.
Exactly. Yeah, you're distracted by all of the lights, for instance. Then we don't do anything. But when it goes wrong, we're still there to safeguard the quality.
All right. I can see the real power of this method in case of high variance use cases, because if there are really huge, for example, if you produce something for years, the very same thing, maybe it's not really necessary. But especially in case of SMEs, the adaptivity is a key feature.
Yeah.
Especially they can be specialized for the high variability products. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's different ways to put variants. We can also, get this information from a database, let's say. So you configure each different module that you have, and then using a database, you will put them together. And like this, you can control all the variants. There's a lot of possibilities to manage those variants actually, and bring the right work instruction to the operator.
Yes, because it can be really, the mental load can be extremely high, and you have to just focus on the nitty-gritty details. So it can be, I would say, kind of relief for the worker. And also, it sounds great, but how hard is to customize, the system itself? Because it's a key feature. I got that question so many times, because if it is, I would say, hard-coded stuff, and you need experts from Belgium all the time to change it, I don't think it's a good way to move forward. But can you tell me how does it work?
Yeah, it's exactly not like that. So we intentionally made a very user-friendly interface to it. So it looks like a Microsoft application, like PowerPoint, for instance. And usually when there is a sale of Archite, we invite the customer to Belgium, to our training center. The people that work with it, the people that make the process and so on, they are trained for 2 days, and then they can independently work with the system. And then typically, of course, the first application we will install, and we will install it ideally right after the training together with them. And then they're good to independently work with the system. So when 3 weeks later they have a new variant, and they just open their laptop and they add one new variant in the process. Because the process itself, you can just change from the desk or from your home laptop. It's only the quality inspection and the detection that you need to do on the workbench. But let's say 80% of the job you can do from the office, and is a very intuitive system. You can just do it like that.
Well, actually, when I saw that surface, for me, it was like an animated PPT.
Yeah.
Putting together slides. So you just have to make some medias, videos, pictures. You need the clear working instructions. That's the key.
Yeah.
And just put together.
Yeah.
Put together just the visual components.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
And to add the media to the software, we now have an application actually on the smartphone where we can directly. It's new, yeah. Send the pictures to the workstation without, copying it onto the computer and so on and so on.
That's brilliant. I have to check it. I haven't seen it. Okay. Very good. And can you tell me a few, I would say, exotic use cases?
Mm-hmm.
And very typical ones, maybe at first the typical ones, and later on the exotic ones.
Yes.
Because if you have imagination, you can use it for a lot of and as I've heard, there are a few really interesting use cases.
There are a few nice ones. The typical ones are just the pick and place applications. I think those cover maybe 80% of the business. But there are a few exotic ones. There is one, for instance, in Volvo cars in Ghent, where operators need to put rubber plugs into the body before it goes to the paint shop. So it's a big problem. If it's not there, the car needs to be repainted, which is a big cost. And there, very simply, we just guide the picking of the right rubber inserts, let's say, and then we project on the body. So in the wheel arches, in the motor hood, in the motor compartment, let's say, where to put it. So we work, I think it's there with 7 projectors. And they have
7 projectors in total?
Yes.
So all the directions?
All the directions.
Not just from
the top and from the side. And it's there for more than 5 years. They still use it because they had last year they had a broken projector, so they ordered the new ones. It means they're still actively using it. So that's a nice one, a very complex one, of course. And then another one, also in automotive, is we have it in 2 locations. There's also videos from that at Webasto, but also at BMW in Dingolfing. They need to put, in one case, glue, and on the other case, they need to clean it, the outline of the panoramic roof before it goes on the car. And if it's not done properly, the glue will not stick on the car, and it can potentially cause leaking, or in worst case, it can fly off the car on a highway. So it becomes a safety issue. So there we guide the operator and we go around the roof and we check that he has been in the complete, length of the panoramic roof. And in case of BMW, we even save 5 pictures per site, store it in a database for future reference to see that everything has been done.
It's proof.
As a proof, let's say,
Wow.
No.
It's interesting. It's very interesting. Okay. And can you tell me a few use cases when the arcade was combined with other solutions?
I think there is 2 nice ones. The first one is one that is a little bit older, but it's also nice. So it's a company that's making laminated floors. And there are big sheets of wood that go into a printing machine and then print the structure of the wood, I would say.
I see.
Then it comes out and it's inspected by a vision system, not an arcade vision system, a third-party vision system. And it will check for inconsistencies in the pattern. And this system is a learning system, is a trainable system. And then arcade will get each coordinates of each mistake in the pattern. We will then project virtual buttons with yes or no, and the operator will have to confirm this is actually a mistake or not. We will send that information back to the vision system, and this way we train the vision system, and then it goes to an automatic sawing machine, and that sawing machine will then cut out the wrong bits in the pattern, let's say. So that is a quite nice integration with the vision system that we did.
All right, and I really like the R&D sector. I spent quite some time there. Can you imagine the arcade as a part of some R&D system? Is it possible to combine with really special equipment? I would say completely custom-made ones, because you mentioned openness, so maybe it's a hard question, but why not?
At this moment, I can immediately imagine it, but I know for some customers soon we will be guiding with pre-series production, so not mass production, so sample parts, let's say. So in this way, and there they focus heavily on visual inspection. So that is, I think, more of an R&D environment that we're embedded. But that's the first, in my case, it's the first application that we do like that.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really great. I have a few other things. Do you have experience with universities or vocational schools?
Yeah. Especially in France, in Spain, and in Germany. Yes, we have systems in university and in Switzerland as well. So it's not the first time that we.
Even in Colombia, I know one.
And in Colombia, yes, okay, yeah. So it's also something that we do, especially I think with regards to education of process engineers. There, typically, we have these type of systems.
And what is the feedback? Because it's a little bit different. It's more openness. It's not really about the KPIs.
No,
just about learning and
for them, it's to get their process engineers familiar with this type of operator guidance systems. From them, we get the feedback that it's a really intuitive system to make a process from A to Z. So as you said, they don't need coding. And of course, the teachers in question have been trained in a training center, but they can easily train, the process engineers and make projects each year again with the system.
Maybe it's another type of question. What do you think about these codeless applications?
Well, I think it's really important because a system like this is only valuable if you maintain it. So of course, production is a dynamic environment. There will be process changes. There will be new assemblies. There will be new variants and things like that. So in that case, it is very important that it's a simple system that is easily adjustable.
Exactly.
Because if you have a hard-coded system and you need to ask the supplier to change it, request budget internally, make a purchase order, ask them to come over, it's not feasible. I would say this type of system, it will be working for a year and then it will be ignored, I think.
Yes, because I can imagine most of the cases, maybe more than 90%, just a small adjustment is necessary.
Yeah.
And if you can do it, it's like a piece of cake.
Yeah, it will be a half-a-minute job. Yeah, exactly.
And it's an immediate success even for the user.
Yeah.
You don't, especially in case of big companies that are really long path, which is necessary to do any modification, and it's really demotivating.
Yeah.
So it can help a lot.
Yeah, exactly. We now have a customer actually that equipped the complete plant with Archite. They do manufacturing in Switzerland actually, and they now decided that each new process will be done in Archite. So no longer PDF or paper instructions. They will immediately put it in Archite. So that they save time and they can update it anytime from the office actually.
Right. And maybe just we can maybe summarize a little bit. Can you tell me the key features why it's really optimal to use Archite? Why that can be the next move for companies, even for universities, vocational schools?
I would say at first it's the final step in digitalization. So most of the companies, they already have an MES system, they already have an ERP system, so they already digitalized the ordering and also the timing of the production. But the last step is, of course, there is a lot of automation that's already done. But in a manual process, there was a blank spot, and this we now fill, and they will have a digital interface to support the operator and how to make it and to safeguard the quality. So I think that's the main purpose of having Archite inside manual environment.
So thank you for your attention. It was a really interesting conversation with Rob. I hope you enjoyed it and you found so many interesting things during this video. Feel free to contact us if you want to learn about this system. Thank you for watching.